Many thanks for choosing us. The easing of COVID-19 restrictions by the president has attracted some positive reactions from the general public. Though many are still skeptical about the decision, the Ghana Medical Association and some allied health service providers, the business community and travelers in and out of the country have welcomed the new measures with lots of relief. We'll share their thoughts with you soon, but first let's bring back President Akufo-Addo's announcement indicating the details of the various restrictions and their respective review. He charged all and sundry to live responsibly.
I'll also urge the media to support this campaign in full. Fellow Ghanaians, we had to impose measures to limit the importation of the virus into our country, especially as our first cases of the virus were imported through the Kotoka International Airport, KIA. Currently, the Kotoka International Airport only allows fully vaccinated passengers who are in possession of a 72-hour negative PCR test result prior to embarkation and have a negative antigen test on arrival, entry into the country. Ghanaian citizens and foreign residents in Ghana who are unvaccinated or not fully vaccinated currently are given waivers by the Ghana Health Service to allow them entry into the country through the Kotoka International Airport. They must also have a 72-hour negative PCR test result prior to embarkation, take an antigen test on arrival, and are offered vaccination. From tomorrow, Monday, 28th March, fully vaccinated travelers into Ghana will not take PCR tests from the country of embarkation to allow them entry into the country through the KIA and will not be tested on arrival. Citizens and foreign residents in Ghana who are not fully vaccinated would, however, need to provide a negative PCR test result of not more than 48 hours. They will undergo an antigen test upon arrival at KIA and will be offered vaccination there. Ghana's foreign missions have been instructed to make vaccination a requirement for visa acquisition. It is worth noting that the establishment of the COVID-19 testing infrastructure at the Kotoka International Airport by Frontier Healthcare Services Limited at its own cost has been key to our ability to limit successfully the importation of the virus into Ghana through the airport. The efficacy of the testing regime at KIA has won global admiration and has been applauded by all those who have undergone its testing. It has been one of the reasons why Ghana was not at the receiving end of several of the travel bans imposed by the West at the height of the pandemic, for which many African countries were affected. As from tomorrow, Monday, the 28th March, all land and sea borders will be opened. Fully vaccinated travelers will be allowed entry through the land and sea borders without a negative PCR test result from the country of origin. Citizens and foreign residents in Ghana who are not fully vaccinated will have to produce a negative 48-hour PCR test result and will be offered vaccination on arrival. Fellow Ghanaians, it has been a difficult 2 years for all of us. And we're seeing light at the end of a very long tunnel. I appeal to all of you to live responsibly, protect yourselves at all times, and do everything we can to stay safe.
That was President Akufo-Addo announcing those easing of restrictions. We have been sampling views on the review. The Ghana Medical Association was the first to speak on the probe last night. Vice President Dr. Titus Bayo endorsed the review.
This COVID has given us a lot of positive lessons that if we do not make benefit of as a nation, we'll have ourselves to blame.
Right.
It is for the first time that we didn't report any cases of cholera because of our hand-washing hygienes. Are we going to maintain this? We saw local industries build capacity to be able to produce and supply and meet almost all our needs in terms of PPEs. Are we sustaining that? We improved our ICU capacity from something that was very abysmal to a point that ICU beds became quite available. Are we sustaining this for other medical conditions that require ICU services? And our research institutions, and I'm very saddened, and I have to mention this here, when you look at some of the restrictions that some countries brought up, in particular United Arab Emirates, when they brought their travel requirements, the accredited labs in this country that they would accept results from, none of them was a public lab. And that's very disappointing.
Right.
What happened to the KCCR, Noguchi, our public health reference labs? That stood in for us. They made the initial diagnosis. How do we turn our back on these institutions and say that they are no longer fit to produce credible results that our international partners will accept? So I think we should not turn our back on those institutions that has helped us in the height of this crisis.
CDD fellow and researcher and a pharmacist, Dr. Sapon Asiedo, has also been endorsing the easing of the restrictions that's announced by the president. He, however, charges government not to renege in its attempt to ensure that the 20 million Ghanaians targeted are vaccinated. He spoke on the AM show.
Any disease state, the problem for public health managers is the link between infection, hospitalization, and death. Once that link is established, health managers have to do something about it. And that is why you have things like social distancing and other things coming in. So at the onset, that came in. Then the next level becomes, what else can we do to break this, which might be either treatment or vaccinations. So when treatments came in, they were not as effective. So link wasn't broken. There was a high probability that if you got infected, you get hospitalized, and unfortunately, you could get severely ill and die. Now we have vaccines, and that link has been broken. The president making that announcement was spot on. What we are left with now is to ensure that the dynamics that ensures that that link is broken are implemented, and that's our vaccination. And so for me, the challenge the Ghana Health Service has now that the president has made this announcement is how to ensure that the 20 million people are vaccinated, not just that, but knowing that immunity wanes after about 6 months to ensure that boosters can be efficiently employed so that our patient immunity is high. Because if our population immunity drops, then you have the added implications of imported infections, especially with our land borders open. We are where we are. You need to be vigilant. The president has made the political health decision. Now you need to make the prudent personal decision around self-protection, self-preservation, and vaccination. And you need to positively affect those around you to ensure that they get vaccinated. That is the only way around it.
But how does government intend to ensure the attainment of the 20 million vaccination following the easing of the restrictions in the wake of vaccine hesitancy? Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, is optimistic government is in sustaining current activities underway. The 20 million target will be achieved by June 2022.
Currently, we have, I would say, roughly 13.6 or so million people vaccinated across the country. We have regional variation in the numbers, but what we have done is that the number of the regions with the highest prevalence also have the highest coverage of vaccination. And that's how it makes it a bit helping us to be able to take some of these decisions that we are making. Vaccine hesitancy is still a challenge, especially as we move into areas where the prevalence of the condition was not as high as before. But we are using all measures to encourage and keep access for the vaccination uptake to increase. And that's why we are doing periodic campaigns to ensure that we mobilize more people to get a vaccine.
So what's the plan right now that the restrictions have been eased? Because if at the time we were having these restrictions, we're having challenges and we are just 13 million, then it means that we have a long way to go. What's the plan going forward? Well,
the plan is what we've always done. The plan is a routine vaccination that continues to go on, I would say, daily basis in all our facilities. We are also doing periodic campaigns. We did one in December. We did one around February. That gave us about 2.1 million people vaccinated in 7 days. And next month, April, we'll do one. We are going to do 3 such events before end of June, just to boost the number of people who have access to vaccination. The new restrictions, the new easing of restrictions is going to mean that we need to encourage more people. If you look at the restrictions, vaccination is a requirement for most of the ease, and so we hope that that's another way of encouraging more people to take up the vaccine.
Is it still feasible to achieve our 20 million target?
Well, it is feasible. It is feasible, and it depends on the supply and the demand, and so it is feasible. We are pushing all strategies to ensure that people take. The last time we had about 2.1 million. If you can get 2 million in each cycle, apart from the routine daily vaccination, it should be feasible to get a 20 million jabs by the end of June.
We're going to hear from the business community at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle here in Accra. Some Nigerians engaged in commerce have welcomed the reopening of land borders after more than 2 years of closure. They are hopeful the reopening of the land borders will revive their ailing businesses.
What's your name?
My name is Chinedu.
Okay, Chinedu, so quickly, how would you say the closure of the border affected you?
Actually, the closure of the border affected me because some goods that we order is be seized from border because the door is not open. So because of that, some other businesses that we are doing, it makes slow. So right now I hear that they opened it up. So I'm happy about it because now business will be moving the way it used to move before. So that's what I say.
What's your name?
My name is Pascal.
Okay, Pascal. So your brother mentions that the quantum of business he was doing came down. How about you? How did it affect you, the closure of the border?
It affected everywhere. It affected everybody because now you can't travel. You can't travel. You are facing many things in road. Because I hear say they have already opened the border. I'm very happy. I'm very happy for that. Thank you.
So for your business, what would this mean to you? Let's say before COVID-19, how often were you traveling between Nigeria and Ghana? And because of the closure, how did it also impact that travel?
The part of the travel is most of all these company motor, where some people that have their park inside, even GIG, God is good, and GUO, God is great, and all these Shisco. They affect us because they are not traveling again. Even to bring goods from Nigeria to here is very hard. But we praying if this thing can, like the way they open the border, if it's true, everybody is everybody can laugh.
Okay. So let me ask again. So what do you trade in here in Ghana?
Well, I'm into phone accessories.
Okay. So say before COVID-19, how much were you making, given the number of goods that you also getting?
Before COVID-19, I've been making a lot. I've been making a lot, but after this, let's say because of this border, things are hard to go and bring goods and bring it here. The money is supposed to buy the goods. The transportation is very costly than the money you buy the goods. You see, so that's why.
So Pascal is also one happy Nigerian that finally the land borders have opened. Chief, what's your name?
My name is Mr. Austin Emmanuel.
Okay, Austin Emmanuel. Yes. So, Austin, you've been very vociferous about this, that, well, you are finally happy. Do you think that it's taking too long to be open?
It took more than a long interval of time, starting from the year 2020 to 2022. It was very, very outrageous to us, especially the businessmen, because the movement was interfered with. There is no longer fast movement based on going to Nigeria, going to Togo, going to Mali, all these countries to import goods. This affected us actually. Recently, I traveled to Nigeria. It was a very dangerous experience. Traveling with my wife and the family with a flying boat. What if the boat sink? It will be a dangerous story to me and the family. So the closure of border affected even every living soul in West Africa. It affected all. Because normally, I don't base on only accessory business. You can go to Nigeria, bring clothes, you bring it here, you sell. When the exchange is good here, you can bring things here. When it is good in Nigeria, you can go to Nigeria and buy. But this thing crashed everything. Everything was crashed. And that is, I think, this contributed to 100% of the hardship in Nigeria and Ghana. Even the presidents and all these, our politicians, they know. Because normally, even ordinary layman, an average man can travel to Nigeria with 1,000 cedis and he can buy things.
Let's now turn our attention to the Volta region, where my colleague Ivy Setoje has been engaging some Volta residents on the reopening. They've been sharing the excitement at the news.
Back to your question, it has been a long time an awaiting issue. We have been waiting for this for a very long time. So it is a prayer. What we've been waiting for has come to pass. This is what I will say. And I am strongly believing that because of the 2 years exodus that we had, the change will be gradually. Believing the general public will not come quickly to the awareness that the border has been opened, but we will continue educating them. So on the first point, we appreciate the president and every other machinery that has made this impossible for us, that they've opened the land borders for us. Our business will move on, and every other thing that we think we need to, in conformity with the law, we will also educate our drivers to do that. Okay. The reopening is going to have a positive impact on our transport business. But what's the transport? Yes, the road transport now is the one serious mode, or one mode that the whole nation use more than any other thing. So since it is the available mode, or the mode probably used by the commuters, by the traders, is going to facilitate trade. And by this trade facilitation, it will even help we the transporters to be in business, because goods moving from the port here to the inner land and then to across the country on transit, they are all going to pass through the land border, and the people the movement of the people without resistance will help us to be in good business. So it's going to have a very great, not just a little way, it's going to have a very great, who will be in business.
The security services and the municipal assembly have, however, been warning against the use of unapproved routes to enter the country. Let's hear from the immigration service and the municipal chief executive.
We are to be screened for any traveler or any foreigner who wants to enter Ghana or exit Ghana have to go through the main Aflawo border. So if you go and pass there and you are seen, or they see that you'll be able to cross in, you'll be arrested and brought back to the office for you to be sent back. So that is what I want the community to understand, and other travelers who some of them out of ignorance, they are deceived, and then they use them to motorbikes to cross them. They should come through the main border.
That country's capital direct, and it makes a lot of people travel from surrounding areas to Togo to buy whatever, to do transaction of business. Some buy products and things from Togo to Ghana. So for some time when the border is closed, it's like nothing is going on. So you see everybody's happy, I'm happy myself. At least that pressure is being released from me. I've been saying that when we meet at the functions, myself and my MP, my MP is the Honorable Chifago Mashi. Anytime I meet her, if I greet her, good afternoon, madam, the reply is, when is you and your father going to open the border? I'm sure today, as the border is open, and she will also, the pressure will be released a little. But unfortunately, the Togo side is not yet open. The information that I'm gathering, I learned it's possible they will also open it either today or tomorrow, which we are hoping very soon that the inflow and outflow of people from Ghana to Togo. There are a lot of measures put in place. I had a meeting with the security agencies, and they assured me that the health service, the immigration, the BNI, the NIB, all of the security agencies, they are ready to do their work as it should be.
There's a push from Norton MP Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa to get the leadership of Parliament to, we'll go to Parliament shortly, but Ivy Setoji is at Aplao, and she's joining us with more from what is happening over there after the restrictions were raised. Now, Ivy Setoji, tell me about the mood in Aplao this afternoon.
Well, Aisha, good afternoon. Actually, the people are excited about the reopening of the borders. They said they are happy about it because when the borders were closed for the past 2 years, most of them lost their businesses. Most youths were in the house doing nothing, and some even involved in criminal activities. So right now the borders are open. The people are so excited. They are happy about it because they will go back to their normal activities and take care of their families. So it's all joy in the Aplau, especially municipality, especially the border, where people are excited for the reopening of the borders. People are going in and out, except that they are also complaining about the other side of the border, that is the Togo, not yet open, but they hope it will also be open.
So tell me about business. Has it started briskly already?
Hello?
Has business started briskly already?
Yes, it has started, but not as it used to be. According to them, everything will spring up as the days goes by. And so they are just waiting for everything. Since it's just today, they will take it one at a time. So they are waiting for everything to spring up.
How are they also responding to the warning coming from the immigration that people should desist from using unapproved routes?
Of course, Aisha, they are not happy about it because some of them, due to constraint, they prefer to use the unapproved route, especially those who are closer to this unapproved route. So they prefer to use the unapproved route so they can easily get access to Togo. So they are not happy about it. But for now, they can use the BIT9, that is pedestrian way for the residents, especially those around. So they can use that place. But for that particular one, the residents, some of them are not happy about it.
Ivy, what kind of constraints are you talking about if you say the people have constraints?
Well, they are not happy about not using some of the unapproved borders because some of them are closer to those areas, and also that the border side, that's the Togo side of the border, is yet to be open. The MTE focus Admas Olukudo also raised that same concern, that the Togo side of the border is yet to be open. So they hope it's open today or tomorrow so they can have a brisk business in both countries.
Ivy Setoji is a woman in the Volta region, and she's currently stationed at Aplao, bringing us up to speed what is happening after the president announced the easing of restrictions of COVID-19. Let's come back to Accra, straight to Parliament, because there's a push from North Tongue MP Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa to get the leadership of Parliament to take a firm decision on proposals for MPs to slash their salaries in the wake of the economic challenges faced by the citizenry. In the view of the NDC MP, government appointees and the members of the Council of State have publicly announced their decision to forfeit part of their salaries, a move Mr. Ablakwa believes must be emulated by the legislators. His comments comes on the back of the raft of measures announced by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to help ease the burden on the populace. Speaking on the floor of the House, ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee asked the House to thoroughly look at the issue and make public the decision of Parliament.
I was wondering if we cannot take the advantage to discuss some matters that have come up that puts Parliament on the spotlight. Yesterday, I heard the Honourable Minister for Finance say that they have taken a pay cut. The Council of State has also taken a pay cut, and they are looking up to the legislature. We can only discuss a matter like that at the Committee of the Whole amongst ourselves, so we can see if we can forge a common position as a House. So I'm wondering if we cannot take advantage of the Committee of the Whole slated for Thursday, 17 March, to thoroughly discuss that matter. Because as it is now, it's like there are just individual opinions and views. We don't seem to have a position as an institution, what our views are, how we want to respond to that matter collectively, if there can be a common position as an institution.
Let's stick with Parliament, because preliminary findings by Parliament's Committee on Defence and Interior has revealed that the use of excessive force by the military at Boko led to the loss of 2 persons. This was established after the Ministers for National Security, Defence and the Interior met the committee to brief them on the recent disturbances in the area. Ranking member on the committee, James Agalga, explained that although the military was attacked first by the angry youth, the use of minimum force would have saved their lives. According to him, the members of the committee are set to embark on a fact-finding mission and also assess the security situation in the area.
But according to the Minister for the Interior, who did the presentation on behalf of his colleague, Minister for Defense, was that the soldiers had and the police had stormed an area, a suburb of Boko known as Boabula. You know, they basically were in search of weapons, so they cordoned off the area and were about to start searching for weapons when some youth opened fire on them. I see. And in the process, some soldiers were wounded. Now, unfortunately, the soldiers also reacted, the police reacted, and the result was very unfortunate. Lives were lost, houses were burnt, motorcycles were also burnt in the process. The committee, after listening to the MPs from the area and the ministers responsible for defense and interior, came to the conclusion that there was need for the committee to visit Boko. Okay. And so come Tuesday, we are going to meet again and determine when it will be possible to visit Boko. And when we return, we shall produce a report. I can tell you straight away, Parker, that, look, some of those who fell victim to the use of some disproportionate force. Yes, it is true. The soldiers are human beings. The police are human beings. And so when they come under attack, quite naturally, they would respond. But it appears there was some use of disproportionate force. But that is beyond the normal form. That for me is unfortunate. In as much as we would condemn the youth who attacked the soldiers, it was also condemnable for
disproportionate force to be used. So the issues are quite murky.
But did the minister indicate to you that this disproportionate force you talk about, the military, the police?
Well, in their view, the soldiers and the police acted within their standard operating procedures. But as a committee, we want to visit the scene to be able to apprise ourselves and not just limit ourselves to what the ministers told us. At the end of the day, the unfortunate scenes we saw is something we have to live with.
Meanwhile, the three ministers have been summoned before Parliament this week to brief the House on practical measures adopted by the government to reduce the tension in the area. And still to come, in business, government treasury bill sales fell massively by 66.8%. We have details shortly in business.
Hello and welcome to Business here on Joy News today. My name is Beverly Broom. Government Treasury bill sales fell massively by 66.8%, despite the increase in the policy rate of the Bank of Ghana to 17% and the announcement of the fiscal measures by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. According to auctioning results, the government was only able to secure a little, about 733 million cedis, from a whopping target of 2.21 billion cedis.
This is coming as a shock because of the expectations that the Treasury market will respond positively to the increase in the Bank of Ghana's base lending rate, same as the reaction to the foreign exchange market. However, investors did not react, as total amount purchased did not even meet half of the targeted amount of 2.21 billion cedis. Perhaps the investors, largely banks, believe the increase in the yield of the short-term securities did not correspond to the surge in the policy rate. All the Treasury instruments were sold below the policy rate of 17%. A cursory look at the results showed that the investors who bought the T-bills rather went in for the 91-day and one-year bills because their interest yields were relatively better. A little above 434 million cedis was mobilized from the sale of the 91-day T-bills at an interest rate of 14.1%, while 222.37 million cedis was secured from the auctioning of the one-year bill at a yield of 17.10%. 72.65 million cedis was, however, mobilized from the sale of the 182-day T-bills at an interest rate of 14.51%. Despite the decline in the sale of the T-bills, it is the hope that the situation will change when this week's auctioning is held on Friday.
The Tamale Metropolitan Assembly is undergoing a decongestion exercise around the Tamale interchange ahead of the commissioning of the new completed interchange, which is the first in the region. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, is due in the northern regional capital, Tamale, on Thursday to commission the first interchange in the area. The mayor for TMA, Suleiman Salifu, told journalists that traders will relocate to satellite markets in the municipality. Here is more in this report.
The decongestion exercise around the enclave of the interchange is to allow free flow of traffic and the safety of the people. Speaking to the media after the exercise, the mayor of Tamale, Sule Salifu, said the traders will be moved to satellite markets in the area.
We have an alternative for them, and that is the cocoa market. We've asked them to relocate to the cocoa market, which is not far from town. That is around the Tamale Teaching Hospital. I believe that if they go by this directive, we will certainly succeed. I'm happy to say that we have been engaging the various unions to see how we can create satellite markets, and the Tipper Drivers Union have agreed with us to relocate from where they are to the Kakwa market.
He said in order to stop people from crossing haphazardly around the interchange, they'll be engaging the consultant on what to do.
The consultant to come for us to have a discussion to see how we can prevent people from crossing on these pavements.
The mayor thanked the president for honoring his word by providing the area with an interchange.
That'll be all for business. But at 1 o'clock, kindly join us because we have reactions from some nose mask traders who say that the president's announcement will not affect the price of nose masks. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Welcome back to Joy News Today. Late Brigadier General Constance Ama Ajani Afenu has become the first female to become a Major General in the Ghana Armed Forces. This was after President Akufo-Addo posthumously promoted her while joining family and friends to pay their last respects to the late Brigadier General Ajani Afenu. More in this report.
Among the many high-profile personalities who thronged the Garrison Methodist Presbyterian Church at Bema Camp to pay their last respect to a woman described as a trailblazer in the Ghana Armed Forces, where she rose to become the first female Brigadier General, was President Nana Akufo-Addo. Born some 60 years ago, now Major General Constance Ama Ajani Afenu was the sixth of 10 children who enlisted into the Ghana Military Academy on the 19th of November 1978 to pursue the regular cadet course at a tender age of 18 years. In her military career, she held several appointments, notable amongst was both in the military and on the international assignment and on the international stage with the United Nations. In 2013, she became the first female to be appointed as the Deputy Military Advisor at the permanent mission of Ghana to the UN in New York till 2016. During the service, to honor this illustrious daughter of the nation, Bishop Dr. Charles Ajinasari described her as someone who was there for everyone, no matter your status in society.
Was a woman who made the best of her existence on earth and was ready to make an impact on people's lives while she was alive. I am convinced she would have equally desired to make an impact in her death too. There are some lessons we have learned today having listened to her. To all the women that are present, she has made it clear that it is possible for women to rise above all the socio-cultural limitations. She was a woman who has shown women the example to rise to the highest echelon of